everybody, and thank you for tuning in to I Choose Me, hashtag no more excuses. Did you find my song? I'm looking for my song. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. That's it. Hey! Thank you for tuning in. Hey, hello everybody. I am not my hair, I am not my skin, I am not your expectations, no. I am not my hair, I am not my skin, I am the soul that lives within. Okay, you could bring down the music for me. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in to Tuesday night. I Choose Me, hashtag no more excuses. It's Tuesday, and I hope you guys have been choosing yourself all week. Well, you know how I like to start with our motto, which is I pledge to embrace who I am today, love who I was yesterday, and inspire who I will become tomorrow. And that's what this journey is all about. It's about loving yourself, inspiring yourself, embracing yourself, and embracing and recognizing that you are enough, that you were born enough. And so this week, the topic of the week will be, is there a hole in your temple? Now, before we move further, I'm going to go over the definitions of hole and temple. So, hole. The first definition is a hollow place in a solid body or surface. Synonyms is pit, ditch, trench, cavity, crater, depression, indentation, and hollow. The informal definition is a small or unpleasant place. Synonyms are slum, shack, dump, and dive. The third definition is an opening into or through something. And the fourth is an empty space in an object, usually with an opening to the object's surface. So those are all the definitions for a hole. Now the second definition we're going to deal with is temple. Temple is a building devoted to the worship or regarded as the dwelling place of a god or gods or other objects of religious reverence. Synonyms is shrine, sanctuary, and house of God. And so we put those two together. When I'm speaking of your temple, I'm talking about your body, your being, who you are. This is your temple. And when I say whole, we're talking about, is there something missing in your temple, in your being, in who you are? Do you have a hole in your existence of your temple, of who you are? I said the first thing you have to do is love who you are yesterday to repair the holes that are in your temple. It's your unworthiness and shame which leaves holes in your temple. And so at the end of the day, if you have a hole in your temple, it's from your past, it's from your history, it's from the things that have hurt you or hindered you, that have you walking around broken. If you have a hole in your temple, that means that there is anything that goes in is going to come back out. If you never repair the holes in your temple, then you can never fill up and operate in a realm of overflow. And so what this journey is all about is for us to be able to fill up enough to have an overflow. But in order for us to have an overflow, we have to make sure that we have repaired all the things that are broken inside of us. Otherwise, the goodness that pours into us will continue to fall back out. And so we have to repair the things or the people and places in our life that have given us wounds, that have given us holes in our temple, so that we can be able to fill up and overflow in a way so that we can walk in our journey and in our purpose. It would be like pouring into a pot with a hole in it. It will drain right out, making the blessings a waste, which is just what I was saying. If you have a hole in you, whatever is poured into you in due time will begin to leak out. no matter how good, no matter how bad, whatever it is, if you have a hole in your soul or in your temple, then all the goodness that is waiting to supply you and fill you up and lead you to your purpose will begin to leak out if you don't fill that void that is inside of you. Excuse me, had to turn that off. Things that cause holes in our temples are the relationships we choose to hold on to, people who aren't who they say they are, people who want the best for you as long as it isn't better than what they have for themselves. The other things that create holes in our temples are the shame of molestation, the hurt of abandonment, hurt from a loss of a loved one, hurt from dreams deferred, shame of goals unreached, etc. So all of these things that are part of our journey in life, all of these things that kind of tear away from us, these are the holes that are created in our souls. These are the holes that kind of hinder us from being able to fill up and go on this journey of life that we are supposed to be on. So I'm asking you, is there a hole in your soul? Is there some things or some people or some places that have hindered you, that have broken you in a way that you cannot begin to fill up like you should be because of your experience of your past? You have to embrace the holes in your temple, and then you have to fix them by believing you are enough. And that's what the I Choose Me hashtag No More Excuses is all about. It's about walking in your light, walking in your truth, and embracing that I'm enough. And when you saying that I'm enough, when you're believing that I'm enough, that means you are starting to repair the holes in your life. You are starting to repair the things that make you feel like you are less than, because you are enough. You were created enough. Those places in your life, these things of your journey that have created holes are supposed to be lessons that turn into blessings. But in order for that to be that, we have to embrace and acknowledge the holes that are in our lives, the holes that are in our souls, and the holes that are in our temples that are stopping us from reaching the overflow in which we need to walk in our purpose. I was saying you have to acknowledge the experience. In order to fill the hole in your soul, in order to embrace your tomorrow, in order to walk in your light and your truth, you have got to embrace the experience. You have got to acknowledge what the experience was. And when you acknowledge the experience and you understand that it was just a lesson to get you higher on your journey, then you can begin to fill in those holes of hurt and pain that have been left behind from the journey that we have been on. Because in order to reach the level of overflow, you need to have a temple with no holes. And that happens when you can embrace you are enough, which is what I was just going through. If you don't see yourself as enough, if you don't believe that you are worthy, then these are the holes that are hindering you from going to the levels in life in which you dream and desire to go. This is hindering you from walking in your purpose and in your light and in your truth. Knowing you are enough dictates how relationships will affect you. So stop appearing to be tarnished. When you know you are enough, the people that come into your life will respect and love you on that level. But when you are allowing the pains of your past, the pains of your history to dictate how special you are and dictate how whole you are, then you begin to be taken away and be broken down in your life. And so the people who come into your life pick up on that energy. They pick up on that respect you have for yourself. They pick up on how you see yourself, and they begin to pour into you how you have already been pouring into yourself. And so if everybody is pouring into you, and you have a hole, then everything that is going into you that is goodness is starting to leak out. So you can never begin to refill or overflow if you have not fixed what is broken inside of your life or inside in your temple. Be clear how relationships are affecting your temple, and then be accountable to those results. Therefore, only leaving people and things in your life that fill you up and not take away from you and drain you. Your energy will reflect a person's intentions. And so at the end of the day, make sure that the people that are in your life, that are providing to you, that are supplying you, they are supplying you with goodness. But in order for you to recognize that, you have to see yourself as enough. In order for you to be filled up and not waste the goodness that people are pouring into you, you have to fill those voids. You have to fill those holes. Because if we continue to walk in our light and in our truth, the people that God places in your life to be a blessing to you, you miss it because you have a hole in your soul. You have a hole in your temple. And so what they are pouring into you is coming right back out. And so you are not being able to walk in your truth, in your light, and in your fullness because you are vulnerable, because you have a hole. You are losing the most essential things to you because of the hole in your existence. If you are in need and want for an overflow, you have to do the work in order to get it. And it won't be easy, but it will be worth the results. And the experience is what empowers your story. And so that's what I mean. In order to fill those voids, it's about you going back in time. It's about you embracing your experiences. It's about you understanding that the shame that is attached to the things that have hurt you or hindered you are not your course to bear. What it is for you to get the lessons so that you can operate and be the person that you were called to be, so that you can fill up those holes, let it be a lesson so that you can allow the overflow to be a blessing to people that you come in contact with. And so you cannot be a blessing to those around you if you continue to walk around with a hole in your soul or in your temple. In order for something to fill up, it has to be free of all punctures and holes, and there has to be something being poured in such thing. And so that's what I'm talking about. In order for you to get to the level of overflow, it requires you to do inventory on what is broken in you. In order for you to receive and go to the level that you are to go in your purpose, it requires you to be accountable to what is broken in you. It requires you to accept the lessons. It requires you to embrace that it is not your fault, and it requires you to begin to fill yourself back up in a way because you know that you are enough. And that is by you choosing yourself with no more excuses, and you loving who you were created to be, and you understanding that the journey is what makes you special. The journey is what creates your story. And so these things that we allow to put holes in us are actually the things that are supposed to be building us up to be who we were called to be in our future and in our tomorrow. Are you ready and prepared for the overflow you are asking for? Because it requires us to get our temple ready so we are not wasting what is being poured in us. And so that's what this I Choose Me is all about. I'm asking you to show up for yourself, to love yourself on a level in which there are no more holes in your temple, that there are no more holes, so that all the goodness that is coming into your life, that is pouring into you, you can hold on to, you can use it, you can begin to fill up on it. Because if you have a hole, then what people are pouring into you will begin to continue to pour out. It don't matter how much people pour into you. If there's a hole, we all know that it's waste, and you're going to continue to leak out. And what is the best parts of you are leaking out because you have not repaired what has been broken. If you want to get to the best part of yourself, it is a requirement for you to repair that what is broken. Hey, are you ready and prepared for the overflow? It requires you to be sure of the vessels that are occupying space in your life and pouring into you, because it gives you the overflow needed to walk in your purpose. And so this is a key part. It is not important that you just have people around you, but it's more important that you have value, that you have quality, not quantity, of the people around you. You have to have people who are pouring into you, who want the best for you. But in order for them to do that, in order for you to receive that, once again, it goes back to you loving who you were created to be, removing the shame from your story and just embracing the glory, to walk in your truth, to tell your story, to be a light in somebody else's life, because what you are going through or what you have been through, somebody else have been there too. Somebody else is going through that. But until you can understand that you are enough, until you can understand that your journey is all about you filling up these voids in your life so that you can begin to fill up and walk on your purpose, you will never reach your true purpose. You would never reach your supreme moment of destiny, and you won't walk in the light in which you have been designed to walk in and created to flow in. One thing I'm sure of is that if you are walking in your purpose, you have reached the level of overflow. If you are doing what you were born to do, if you feel joy when you wake up, then if you are walking in that purpose, then you have reached the level of overflow. That means you have healed what has been broken, that you have filled your temple, that you have allowed only goodness and people who are bringing the best to you in your life, that you are surrounding yourself with everything great, and that you are pouring love into yourself, so that love is coming out of yourself. If you want the best, you have to surround yourself by the best. If you want the world, you have to surround yourself with the best things in the world. It is up to you. You own your future. You own your life. You own your story. But in order to walk in that, in order to be that, you got to love who you was created to be. You have to patch up those holes, and you have to walk in your truth. Which means everywhere you go, you leave love, because you are so full of completeness in yourself that you yearn to see it in others. It'll be a second nature to you. And so when you're walking in your light and you're walking in your truth, you walk around in love. You reside in love. Everywhere you go, you fill the room with love. People will remember you. People will feel your spirit. And in order for you to be walking in that purpose, in order for you to be walking in that light, once again, the temple is important, that you fill the holes in your spirit, that you fill them up, that you understand that it was just a lesson, that you do not make it your story, that you do not make it the thing that holds you back, but you make it the thing that parachutes you up, that projects you into your future, that takes you as high as you want to go. I mean, all these things, to whom much is given, much is required, that means that you must go through these things. They are not meant to break you. They are meant to make you. And if you want to operate in the realm in which you want to operate, then you have to embrace your story and understand that, like Tanika said, feed your soul with greatness. When you begin to feed your soul with greatness, you make room for so much good stuff in your life. You make room to walk in your truth, walk in your purpose, walk in your light. Because love grows everything. You are operating in love, so you want to inspire and pull out the very best in everyone. And so when you are, you know what they say, misery loves company? Well, so does love. And so if you are operating in a realm of completeness, if you are operating in a realm of filling up enough to be able to reach your overflow, if you are operating in that kind of place in your life, then everywhere you go and everybody that you come in contact with, they will feel that. They will grow on that. You will grow everything around you as you're growing yourself. And so I ask you again, are you ready to do the work? Are you ready to stand up for yourself? Are you ready to remove the shame and the pains of your past and embrace the glory of it, embrace the lessons of it, and move forward so that you can be your best self? Another brick to your foundation. Absolutely. You being able to complete and fill that hole in your life, like Nicole said, is another brick to your foundation. If you're trying to build something worth standing, then you have to repair it from the bottom. And so as long as we continue to have holes in our lives, as long as we continue to have holes in our temple, then we will never reach our level of true purpose, because everything that is being poured into us will begin to pour out of us. And we won't be able to reach the level of overflow until we can patch up what is broken. You do this effortlessly, and that is what being full and walking in purpose look like. Are you ready for your overflow? Once again, if you are ready for your overflow, if you are ready for your greatness, if you are ready to walk in your purpose, if you are ready to be everything you were called to be, then it's time that you stand up for yourself. It's time that you introduce the new you. It's time that you introduce your light. It's time that you introduce yourself to yourself. And you say, listen, who I was yesterday only made me stronger for today. And who I am today will only inspire who I will become tomorrow. And that's why the motto is so important, to embrace who you are today. Love who you were yesterday. Because the hardest thing for us to do, which are the holes, is loving our yesterday. Loving the things that we can't change. You have to understand that you can't change yesterday, but you can be in power of tomorrow. And so if you want to walk in your power and you want to walk in your light, you are going to have to show up for yourself in a way that you have never done before. You're going to have to show up for yourself in a way that makes you supreme, that makes you number one, that makes you worthy, and makes you believe that you are enough. You are everything that you believe you are. It's up to you to show up and shine in your light on the people that are around you. Shine your light on the people that need you. Shine your light on the people that you meet in your journey. But you can't do that if you have a hole, because the light that you shine is the overflow that you get from which you're being filled up from the relationships that God places in your life. But as long as you have the hole, the people that he placed to you in your life, you will not get value from. You know why? Because they will continue, what is going in will continue to drain out. And if it's draining out, it leaves you with nothing. So if you're feeling depleted, if you're feeling like you are losing something, if you feel like you are not in your purpose, if you feel like you are not feeling that vibrant, it's because you have a hole that is in need of repairing. So you have to do inventory on your soul and on your spirit. I'm going to share the poem for today, which is Hole in Your Soul. Isn't that convenient? I got one written. America has a hole in your soul for your yearning to see. In everyone else, what you wish you could be. We are so caught up in an image that our self-esteem is losing the race. For we are searching everywhere but in the mirror to see our face. Yes, our face, the person who God breathed life in from day to day. We're so caught up in others' images that we can't find our own way. We are not being taught to embrace and love whom we are. And the impact is making us lose ourselves by far. Who am I, you ask? I don't even know. Because I'm struggling with this hold I have embedded in my soul. You ask, what's the hold that I speak about? It's the insecurities we embrace and our whole being that we doubt. Why am I so skinny, so fat, so ugly, so misused? I've been lied about, molested, so to the point I want to walk in your shoes. There's a hole in my soul and you ask, how could this be? But the answer's so simple. Because I've never had anyone validate me. You see, youth are losing their innocence at a very young age. And the outcome of this is sending their spirit into rage. Now, days after the hole in their soul is getting bigger. And all it is doing is make them pull the trigger. Pulling the trigger on their hopes and dreams and values of their life. And they are filling the hole with lost inhibitions and the pain of all their strife. America's got a hole in your soul, and only God can heal your heart. And all he asks is for your true self, and he can grant you a brand new start. So the hole in your soul can only be filled when you begin to love who God created you to be. Because you will never find yourself if you are ashamed of what you see. Tell yourself every day that you're special, and in God's image there is none like you. And never forget to be true to yourself in everything you do. And so that is what I want the lesson for this week to be. That you are enough. That you were created enough. And that your temple is something special. And that in order for you to go to the heights in which you want to go, in order for you to walk in the perfect purpose in which you were created to walk, you have got to feel and heal those broken places in your life. Those wounds that you have held on to, those wounds that you have made your story, those wounds that you won't let go of. I'm here to tell you that in spite of all those things, you are enough. In spite of all those things, you still have a purpose. In spite of all those things, the world is still waiting on your masterpiece. So in order for you to show up and be who you were called to be, you have to choose yourself with no more excuses. See, yesterday are the excuses that we use. And that's how come I say, I choose me, no more excuses. Those things that happened to us yesterday are the things that we embrace. It's the story we tell ourselves. It is the reason that we continue to operate, making it okay to walk in the shade. It is time that you begin to walk in your light. It is time that you begin to walk in your truth. It is time that you begin to love who you were created to be. Nicole says an overflow becomes a beautiful waterfall of blessings. I love, love, love that. And if you are ready for your waterfall, if you are ready for those blessings in your life, please begin to do the work on repairing what's broken. If you need help with that, I am an amazing life coach. You can definitely reach out to me. You can email me at ichoosememovement@gmail.com, and I can definitely help you begin to empower yourself on a personal level if that's what it takes. But I don't want to be here week to week from Tuesday to Tuesday and we're not growing and beginning to walk in our purpose in our life. That is what this is all about. It's about a community of us coming together, supporting one another, and embracing that we are enough and that we all have a story and that God will get the glory if we begin to walk in our life. So before we go, I just want to challenge you to begin to patch up the holes in your life. And so that the people that you design to be a part of your world, that they will begin to pour into you as you are pouring into yourself so that you can reach the level of overflow in which you deserve to have. And so before we leave, I want to always leave with the motto, which is I pledge to embrace who I am today, love who I was yesterday, and inspire who I will become tomorrow. I choose me. #no more excuses, because I am enough. And I'm here to tell you that you are enough. So love yourself dearly, lift yourself up, and begin to walk in your light and your truth, because you are worthy. Until next week, I choose me. #no more excuses. Thank you all for tuning in. I love, love, love you. Walking in your I am absolutely. Hey, Mom. Love you guys. Enjoy your week. And I will see you next Tuesday as we begin to operate in choosing ourselves, loving ourselves, and beginning to stop allowing excuses to stop us from reaching our true light. The light is yours. Begin to walk in it and let it shine on you.